Játék peletyűjénisé ma idés initially Billiganabashin Kinlachi Nidash Billiganadash. Welcome back to Resball. And now we're gonna get into Adou Thiero, who comes from Arkansas, played like the guard position, probably somebody that's gonna switch in the NBA. Yeah, this is a defensive weirdo block of guys, but man, there's a lot to like about Adou Thiero and somebody in the process who I didn't like so much, but then the more film you dive into, the more you dive into everything. There's really only like one or two things to me that cause major concern, but there's a lot to like about Adou Thiero. So let's get into Adou Thiero right about now. So Adou Thiero, again, there's Thiero is what I've heard other people say, but it's Adou Thiero, which one of the resources I'll give you in the YouTube section, like he breaks down how to say it. So it's Adou Thiero. Adou at Arkansas, followed Cal from Kentucky. Bit of a journey here. So Adou's parents are originally from Mali. He was born in Utah, spent some time with his grandma as a baby in Mali, but spent most of his time here in the U.S. and is born here in the U.S. His dad, Almami Thiero, played for Coach Cal at Memphis for 3 years, played for one season at Duquesne after that, but that's the Coach Cal connection there. So Pops played for Coach Cal at Memphis. His mom, also good basketball player in her own right, played at Oklahoma City, which is an NAIA school. Scored like over 20 points per game there, 6'4". So his dad's like 6'10", his mom's 6'4". This family is super tall for sure. And his mom played so well at an NAIA school that she was selected in the third round of the 2006 WNBA draft, went 33rd overall to the Washington Mystics. Ended up playing overseas for Red Star. I tried to find like stats and stuff for her to give you like a breakdown of how great she was, but it's really hard to find that stuff online. So anybody out there that knows about Miriam Sai, that's his mom's name over at Red Star and the stats and stuff, get at me. Adou Thiero is kind of weird because he wasn't really recruited coming out of high school. The word is he only had one division, one offer pretty much as a junior. And it wasn't until his senior season catching on and very late in the process, all of a sudden he got hit with like the 3 or the 4-star recruit and then got multiple offers and ended up going to Kentucky originally with Coach Cal and then following Coach Cal over to Arkansas. Almost said Memphis. All the Coach Cal stops are bouncing around in my head. Quaker Valley High School in his final season there. Adou Thiero, 23.3 points per game at Quaker Valley High School, 10.3 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 3.9 steals per game, and 2.3 blocks per game. That is going to be a running theme here, is stat stuffing machines, as we talked about with Colin Murray Boyles. Let's check out the stat stuffing machine that is Adou Thiero. Adou Thiero at Arkansas this past season scored 15.1 points per game, pulled in 5.8 rebounds per game, dished out 1.9 assists, 1.6 steal per game, and 0.7 blocks per game. Shooting splits for Adou were 60.5% from 2-point range. I mean, you're not going to see many guys that play the guard position shooting 60% or better too. So that'll give you some indication that this guy does not waste shots inside the 2-point arc and is incredibly efficient. 25.6% from 3-point range. Yes, that's going to be the big concern. Can this guy shoot threes? If you're not a center, everybody's going to have that question. If you're not shooting really well, then 25.6% from three on a really low volume, 1.6 3-point attempts per game. We'll get into that. But at the beginning, yes, that's the number one concern. Maybe the only concern, 68.6% from the free throw line on 6.5 free throw attempts per game. Let's look at some of these advanced numbers. This is where it's hard to track true shooting when it's like this, when one percentage is really good and another is really bad. You're like, ooh, how much does the one percentage drag down the other? How much does the other percentage boost up the other? Well, 60.5% true shooting percentage, mainly because Adou Thiero has a really low 3-point attempt rate in both seasons at Kentucky in his sophomore year. And then as a junior here at Arkansas, in both seasons, Adou had under 20% 3-point attempt rate, 16.7% as a sophomore, and then 70% as a junior. That's really, really low. You know, on the one hand, fantastic that he can shoot that effectively and efficiently as inside of two to keep his true shooting percentage at 60.5%. But as you'll see, this isn't somebody that's going to be a center. This is somebody that does need a jumper, even if it's just like mediocre, and somebody that is going to be a role player, not somebody you're going to argue for having the ball in their hands. Draft range is wildly all over the place as well too. I'm probably gonna have to reevaluate where I have him just because I do think there's a lot of things in here. Let's see, I forgot to say in the last episode too where I had Colin Murray Boyles. I had Colin Murray Boyles at 16. I mean, if you wanted to put him in at 10, I'm not gonna begrudge you there. Adou Thiero though, I had him pretty low still. He's at 63 on the big board. I'm gonna have to reconsider that because this is somebody that physically look at the true shooting percentage even without the 3-point shot. He pulls in rebounds, 14% assists to 12% turnover. That's not great, but look at the numbers. And it's 51 assists to 46 turnovers. And that's totally fine for a role player. And the other part about this whole thing is the free throw attempt rate of 69.2%. As a freshman, he only got 190 minutes, but his free throw attempt rate was 1.138, which is like astronomical. If you have, yeah, remember, think of these in terms of like percentages. So it's basically 69.2%. That's already fantastic. As a sophomore, it's 41.7%. So as a freshman, 190 minutes, it would be 1,138 percentage. So it's super small sample size, but it's a clear indication that this guy gets to the free throw line, even in the down year, quote unquote, as a sophomore. It was 41.7%. So yeah, just a free throw generating magnet because of the physicality, which shows up on both sides of the ball. When he has the ball, he's going to drive in there and is unafraid of contact. Might be the guy that handles contact the best out of anybody, in my opinion, because number one, he's unafraid of it. And number two, not only does he get there and initiate it, but he finishes so many buckets that look like they're going to be tough that other guys can't. Even the guys up high, like Dylan Harper and guys we've seen before who can get there a lot, like a Cam Jones and things. I still would put my money on Adou Thiero this year just for that true shooting percentage. A lot of these looks and a lot of his offense comes from getting there and being able to finish through that contact and just get unafraid. Also, 6'6.25" without shoes. So we're looking at a guy that's like 6'7", harping on 6'8" in shoes. Well, we'll say 6'7". So this is a guy that's 6'7" in shoes, 218.4 pounds. So 6'7", 220, almost there. And then a 7-foot wingspan. So why is he able to handle contact really well? Well, he's playing the guard position, basically like the shooting guard there at Arkansas. And Adou is 6'6", 6'7", 218, 7-foot wingspan. Not only do you have the size, not only do you have the bulk, not only do you have the wingspan, combine all of those three, along with the attitude of wanting to be physical. That's why you have a 60.5% true shooting percentage. That's why you maintain super high rates at the free throw line. And when you've been given major minutes and were the starter this year, being the guy leading the charge at Arkansas, Adou Thiero, 69.2% free throw attempt rate. Again, there would be centers who would kill for that. Let's go to the shot chart since we're talking about all this stuff anyway. Let's get the rough part out of the way. 8 of 33 from 3-point range, 24.2% on above the break threes, 3 of 10 from the corners. So didn't really take a lot of threes, had the ball in his hand a lot, ended up being a little bit more of a slasher even when he didn't have the ball. So again, this is a guy, if you want to say, hey, move him over to small ball forward, be a power forward. Yeah, the corners are where he's going to have to live and try and hammer himself out there. But in the mid-range, 12 of 36, 33.3%. Again, if you watch this guy play, you don't want him to be a mid-range shooter. That's not something you're going to ask of him ever. So to me, I'm like, just throw that stuff out, okay? In the paint, 35 of 69, 50.7%. Great numbers there. And then at the rim, 80 of 105 shots are 76.2%. I've said it a lot. I've said it a bunch of different episodes now. Anything over 75% on over 100 shots at the rim, you're elite. And this is the reverse of where we were with Colin Murray Boyles last time, where the paint numbers were bad, but the rim numbers were good. This one, both of them are good. And it just screams again what I just said. He not only initiates contact, but he knows how to finish through it. I don't know if you necessarily call it touch. I guess you would call it touch, but he's definitely worked on being able to get there and then get the shot up and make, which is an incredibly hard skill to master and incredibly hard to be the guy at Arkansas. I remember Boogie Flan went down. So the rest of the lineup was kind of inconsistent. Nobody else took a lot of scoring pressure off of an Adou Thiero. So, and then still to maintain over 50% of the paint, over 75% at the rim. It speaks to the variety of ways and how he can get to contact and finish through it. Not only with the ball in his hands, I know that's the vast majority of like the things that'll come up in the highlight is the and ones and just being able to put a shoulder into somebody and push him out of the way, or even if they quote unquote stifle him, he gets the shot off and it goes in anyway. But as a slasher, that's the other part of the package that I really like is that Adou Thiero off ball is as active as he is on ball. He's constantly looking for ways to back cuts, to get in there and to get an easy bucket either in the paint or at the rim. And also that stuff does generate free throws as well. It's not like he's super ball dominant. If you go back and look at the usage, 25.8%. That's the lead guy, but it's not like our only option. He still had a lot of times where other guys had the ball and he cut to the rim. And that's why the free throw percentage and free throw attempt rate, excuse me, is so high is because he could maintain that not just when he's driving, but when he uses the gravity of other guys and cuts in there and gets some extra points that way. Yeah, and really the only thing is the 3-point shot, right? It's a low volume. Let's go look at the total numbers here on Adou's 3-point shots. 43 threes. That's his career high this year. Something's got to give there. Do you want to play him at power forward? Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't rule that out of the realm of possibility. With the size, 2 more pounds, 220, 6'7". There are a lot of guys in the NBA that play power forward at that size. I don't know that you're arguing for Adou Thiero as like the starter, right? This is why his draft range is so wide to me. I can see somebody looking at the physical gifts, the free throw generating, the cutting, and what I didn't mention before, the defense. Like he is a very good defender. It's clear he cares on that side of the ball and where the physicality tracks. 44 steals to 20 blocks. He's definitely more of a perimeter oriented defender. But I do think the shot blocking part is a little bit untapped. As a sophomore at Kentucky, Adou had 27 block shots and 17 steals. It seemed like that was more the power forward, weak side shot blocker kind of guy. And maybe at that point, I remember thinking like, maybe this is like a small ball, big kind of guy. But then this year proved like, oh no, when you give him the ball, like there's a lot more creation ability and things to unlock there. So on defense, he's locked in that same way. He's going to give you maximum effort. He has a great size and wingspan to where play him at the wing, please. This is where I would argue against like the small ball power forward, like keep him at shooting guard, keep him at small forward. He's nowhere near the athlete of an Asar or an Amen Thompson, but think of somebody like that. This is where that does come into play. These aren't the comps that I'm going to go with, but further on down the athletic spectrum, but still a great impact defender is Tari Eason. Again, another guy that doesn't have a consistent 3-point shot. He's probably more of a willing shooter and at least can knock down 30% or around there in the NBA already. Whereas for Adou, I think it's going to take some time. If you do want him to be a 3-point shooter, to develop, to have confidence to take them, and then to develop even more to be average. So I do like Adou's overall physicality package on both sides of the ball. You combine that with the size. There is so much to like with Adou Thiero on both sides of the ball. One of the best guys, I think, in terms of staying in the draft, similar to Colin Murray Boyles, too, where I'm like, how many teams now are going to look at somebody like the Thompson twins, like Atari Eason, and they're like, we need a guy like that. We don't need any more of these bucket getters. We have enough of them. Or like, man, we have so many holes on defense. Or man, we have a really good shooting coach that we believe in that can teach these guys how to shoot. There's just not too many 6'7" 218-pound guys with a 7 foot wingspan who are this physical can get you free throws and stay locked in on defense like that. Where like really, I know a lot of guys. This is such an overused thing in draft spaces. Like, well, the swing skill is shooting. It's like you could probably say that for 75% of any draft prospects you would talk about. But I think rarely it is the case with somebody like an Adou Thiero where it's only that. If he's just an average shooter, then we're talking about somebody that's really good that you can insert in the starting lineup as the fifth starter. You can bring off the bench as an impact player. Another guy on defense you can throw on wings, power forwards, can handle the athleticism on point guards as well. I think they're probably like the elite of the elite in terms of quickness and athleticism that maybe can shake him. But I just buy into Adou's overall package and athleticism. That, yeah, I would let him handle the 1 through the 4. Probably going to stick more to the wing, but especially if you have a roster where you could put this guy on guards, then oh my goodness, that's a huge mismatch on defense. 6'7" with a 7 foot wingspan and does hang with them athletically. The one thing I didn't mention on offense too, because there's a lot to like in terms of the athleticism physical package. Like the dude did get up and catch some lobs. I didn't see him screen too much, but I imagine that's not going to be too big of a deal. And Adou has shown time and time again to be willing to put in time for the team, willing to sacrifice. And that's another thing that just opens up the offense. If you can't be a horizontal spacer, but you got the athleticism to be a vertical spacer, please, by all means, do it, because that is just going to bring so much more versatility and so much more of a benefit to your overall NBA package while you still work on your 3-point shot. My comp for Adou ended up being Najee Marshall. I do think this is one that is really close to 1-to-1. Again, the draft range is kind of all over the place with Adou. I've seen him like late first round. I've seen him high second round. I've seen him late second round. Obviously, I have him ranked as undrafted right now. All of those things could be in play, but I do think after the withdrawals of guys going back to school, and again, looking at the overall athleticism package and knowing that like really it does just come down to, hey, can this guy shoot? Do we believe we can get this guy to shoot? Or do we have the roster around him to where that's not really a thing now and we burn that bridge when we get there later on? Yeah. At least high second round, probably, just in terms of athleticism and skill. And then the Coach Cal thing too, right? How many Coach Cal? Technically, you can label Adou as a guard. How many guards out of the Coach Cal system and be more successful in the NBA? All of those things gives Adou the bump. And looking at a Najee Marshall, same thing, almost verbatim. He's 6'7", 220 is what Najee Marshall's listed at, almost identical size. Does he have a jump shot and a 3-point shot? Not really. No. I mean, there's been like one season where he shot over like 30%, 32%. But you know what he is physical, where he's a load on defense. Guys can't really shake him. I think Adou's probably more athletic and fluid than Najee Marshall, but has that same kind of fight. Najee Marshall plays more power forward, small forward. I think Adou would probably play more small forward and shooting guard, but utilize that mismatch of being physical on offense, will drive and yam it on you any chance that they get, will fight and claw on defense. I mean, there's a reason why Najee got paid in Dallas. It's because Dallas needed the defense there. And there are a lot of other teams that needed that. I remember arguing for the Pistons too. And even now, there are a lot of Piston fans that still say, hey, we should bring in a Najee Marshall. And imagine you get that guy at, let's see, dude's like 21 years old. You have time to develop him as a shooter. You don't necessarily need to play him right away, but you can have his defense be a contributing part of your rotation from day one. I do think there's just so much Najee Marshall in Adou Thiero's game, and he can improve from that. Because really the main thing you have to work on is the shooting. You love the physicality on both ends of the ball. You love the size and the athleticism and the mismatch it can give you on defense. Almost forgot. It's forgetting my own format here. Some video things to look at on YouTube for Adou Thiero. Number one, NoCeilingsNBA.com is fantastic season highlight on Adou Thiero, the late bloomer, the hog pod came out about 4 months ago from Arkansas. That's where you learn how to say his name and get a little bit more on the background on the young man. My guy, Hardwood Hoop Central NBA Draft Green Room, 1 hour, 39 minutes, 16 seconds. All the film you ever want to see on Adou Thiero. Go check that out. And then the last two are Floor and Ceiling. Again, has a great scouting report on Adou. It's about 15 minutes. And then my guy, Cash Iggy, a lot of Adou Thiero games. Go check those out there on his YouTube channel. So, Adou Thiero, what's not to like? Again, the size, the athleticism, the defense, the physicality, the ability to generate free throws, all of that stuff. It just comes down to the 3-point shot, and do you believe in it? And is it going to impact his overall game based on the roster that you are constructing? So, yeah, thank you so much for listening to us. We will catch you next time. We're going to